Yo, 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 yo. Real quick. Real quick, real quick. I'ma make this video real quick. I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all how this shit works. I'm gonna put together the play. I'm gonna show you the play. Perfect, in time. But I'm gonna let somebody else talk real quick because there's a play at hand with, Kanye and the George Floyd shit that a lot of people don't understand. But let me see if I can get him in. I got him playing right now on YouTube, and I'm gonna see if I can get him in also while I'm doing this live.
Money. And you look at shows like Dan Schneider, and Dan Schneider has produced every hit TV show from Nickelodeon from like 19.
He's talking now, but I think I got a little minute. The play is this George Floyd, Kanye shit. The Kanye shit, he said something about George Floyd. They hit him with fentanyl and this, that, or the other. And that probably was his cause of death and shit like that. But I'm going to play this lawyer. This is a 2-year-old interview. This lawyer came on. His name William Ramsey. You see, he's on my Instagram. William Ramsey is one of the dopest content makers out. He's a lawyer from LA, but he goes deep into the real situations that be at hand, like the secret societies and all these, all of the secret societies, how they work, how they play, and how they manifest each other, how they manifest in our world that we don't really understand. So I'm gonna play this little clip real quick on George Floyd, and then we can get a better understanding of what's going on and how it happened with Black Lives Matter. Remember, this is a 2-year-old podcast.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, let's segue that back to Rogan, because he has had very unfortunate or disturbing connections to probably the biggest story before the whole COVID thing or the impeachment, which was Jeffrey Epstein, right? So he has had on his show Lawrence Krauss and Steven Pinker, two materialist Darwinian scientists who were friends with Epstein and were at the Edge Group in Monterey, pictured with Epstein together, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I think Epstein funded some of Krauss's research down there at the University of Arizona. He's at Arizona State, astrophysicist, right?
They talk about Epstein and some of his connections with Joe Rogan and how Joe Rogan have some of Epstein's people on the show, but never mention at all that, this is Epstein's chef or this is Epstein's personal driver or anything. He just interviews them about regular shit. But it's gonna give you a good. He's gonna say something. I'm stalling now until they get to it, because if I press pause, it just goes away. So I just got to keep muting my speaker in the radio or whatever. Then it bring it back. But remember, this is a lawyer. They're gonna try to sue Kanye, but they didn't try to sue William Ramsey because what they're saying is true, and William Ramsey would win that. Black people, we just don't know a lot, and I'm gonna try to change that.
Involved in that, and there was some kind of weird Santa Fe Foundation in Santa Fe. Some of these guys were around the same ideas, Darwinian evolution, materialism. Yeah, and it was very odd to have him on, but I think the most recent one, which is post-Epstein thing, was he had this guy, and I think we talked about it last month, was this guy Adam Perry Lang, who was
you told me about
chef.
that guy.
Yeah. And Virginia Giuffre actually mentions him by name. I think she calls him Adam, and working at the Manhattan, blackmail mansion, right? In Manhattan, and here he is talking to Rogan, and Rogan doesn't ask many questions about Epstein. So it's almost like a cover,
absolutely. Well, you told me about that. That's exactly what I thought, because I went and looked at the details, and I'm like, well, they're just clearly covering this up. It's just adding a layer of confusion that he would never ask any questions about Epstein to this guy.
Yeah, like no connection, no nothing. You're in LA. He's very specific about where he works, next to the Pantages Theater. He's just a meat guy.
Right?
It's very, if you know that, it's just like some of these other things.
Yeah, he was the aged
steak guy. Yeah, I've been, Rogan's talking about being there. And it's like the whole other part of the story where this guy was serving these people, also Ghislaine Maxwell. It's like, This is still,
No,
I mean, the Epstein
it
thing
has
is
to
still
be.
going on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it has to be intentional, right? I mean, there's no
I
way
would
that's
think so.
accidental.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that goes back to even the conversation that Rogan had with Duncan Trussell when they were talking about Midnight Gospel and Damian Eccles. I kind of felt like they were volleying tennis balls back at each other easily, you know, where they had kind of a
Here it come,
pretext
watch
or a
this.
pre-scripted kind of way that they were
Sure.
going to talk about it. Never bringing up the West Memphis 3, never bringing up,
Sure.
you know, the death of this, and just totally shaping this whole narrative. And I think that should be a concern to people who listen to Rogan. At least that side of Rogan.
Oh,
'Cause,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't do I don't listen to the fighting or the...
Now they're about to say the official police report. Remember, this is a lawyer. This is a big-time LA lawyer, Los Angeles lawyer. Kanye is just saying shit that, like I said, this is 2 years ago. What Kanye said is coming out now, and it's shocking the black community, but it just shows our ignorance to a lot of shit because this is like 2 years old. But let's continue.
Those are the but, you know, I'm not really interested in that side of his show. The shows that I do listen to are more cultural, or the intellectuals that are on there. But you can't. I mean, he has so many shows.
I've enjoyed I've definitely enjoyed a Joe Rogan conversation a time or two, and I've definitely laughed at some of his jokes, but he definitely has some.
But listen to this. It's gonna say a lot of shit that we didn't know, and I'll put the play together after they finish talking.
Chef,
Yeah.
when he's having on Epstein Chef, and there's not a single mention of Epstein. That's
That's
to me, that's intentional. That's got to be, in my mind, that's got to be very much just to add some sort of cover layer to things. And I see it going on in other places. I see it going on right now relative to the George Floyd situation. I'm not sure. I don't want to get too far off topic, but giving a relative comparison. So George Floyd, the fellow that got murdered allegedly there in Minnesota by the video that everybody around the world saw. Not to get into the details of the video, but George Floyd was a gangster rapper from Houston. That's who the guy was. There was another gangster rapper in the light of this man's death that said, "I'm going to go to Minnesota from Houston and riot and loot," and he was inciting a lot of those activities. That man was doing media events with a fellow gangster rapper from the same rap label in Houston was doing media events with a congresswoman talking about, you know, all the incidents, etc. And he's doing media events saying he's going to Minnesota. He's going to Minnesota and doing media events. And none of these media events does anyone ever say, "Do you know this guy, George Floyd?" They're making it sound like he's just some kind of activist guy from Houston. No one puts two and two together that they're rappers from the same label that have actually.
Do you know the name of their label? Do you know the name of their label?
Yeah, it's the major label out of Houston. I'm not a big rap fan. Yeah, it's DJ Screw. I know is the original founder of the label. I think it's called Screw Records, maybe something to that effect.
Did Floyd, was he under the same name? Did he rap under his own name?
He rapped under Big Floyd, and he definitely rapped with this guy that I'm talking about. The guy I'm talking about is Trey the Truth, TRAE the Truth. And you can watch the guy do videos. You can watch him with a congresswoman doing media.
Which congresswoman is it?
The one from Houston, the super crazy lady, Sheila Jackson Lee.
Oh yeah, with the hat or whatever.
Yeah, they all get a little aggressive down in that region with their cowboy hats, I think.
Wow. See, yeah, that whole story's shaped. I mean, the thing is they never talk about Floyd as like a repeat criminal who did a home invasion, and like punched some woman in the stomach and.
Oh no! Yeah,
bro. On the day that he was arrested, he was on fentanyl and meth. He found fentanyl, and if you watch the video, he's clearly dropped a bag of white powder, so he was on something, and it doesn't make what happened to him right, but yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I feel like the whole situation, it does seem very scripted. They blew it all into this white cop who worked with this guy, may have had beefs in this club they worked in. They shaped it all around this thing, right? He may have worked at that club. I don't know for a fact that he didn't. That club burnt down immediately into the riots. I have a lot of questions into the activities of that club and its ownership. However, there's a club.
You're not alone. You're not alone, because a lot of people also do.
Yeah, there's some definitely questionable things going on there. But across the town in Minneapolis, that one sits in like little Somalia region. on the eastern side of town. On the western side of town is more of a white populated region and Spanish populated region as well. And so there's a club over there that claims that George Floyd not only worked there as their bouncer, but lived there. The owner is spinning the same tale as the other owner of the other club, saying, oh, this guy was a great guy. He protected us. He protected our building, et cetera, et cetera. That story, I actually believe that dude actually lived and worked there because he has no registered address in Minnesota from like what I can tell.
Wow.
And so if he's a felon from Houston who got off probation in 2012, moved to Minneapolis in 2014 to work as a bouncer and live at this club, and they probably pay him in cash, yeah, I believe all of that.
Right.
You know, but that's not the story being spun by the media. The story by the media is he worked at this different club.
Interesting.
Now,
right.
The club
but it would make sense for him to do something like that where he doesn't really have a set address as an ex-felon where he's trying to clean up his past.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a felon class lifestyle to not have your address, to get paid in cash, to live at a place of your employment. Sure. These are all things that I would reasonably expect from somebody who's just off of felony probation for, like you said, home invasion where he put a gun onto a pregnant woman's belly, apparently.
Right.
But yeah, I think that, I think it's possible that the guy did work up there, but why he's being spun into this other person, into this other club, I think is a different story. Now, the club on the west side of town that's not being heavily pushed in the media, but there are media reports, and again, from like the major media of Minneapolis too, the major newspaper outlet has done multiple stories on the subject from the other club. They don't ever mention the two clubs in the same story though.
Right.
And
interesting.
The other club identifies and has thrown parties for George Floyd as being Big Floyd the rapper.
Fascinating.
And no one on the other side of the other club that burnt down recognizes that he was that rapper. It's a very strange dichotomy being built, but I think it kind of speaks to the structured nature of a lot of things that go on TV, that whether it's the George Floyd incident, whether it's Duncan Trussell tossing softballs to Damien Eccles on a Netflix show. You know, I think these are all well-structured events of media.
Well, I think that they're just structuring everything, to be honest with you. So I think that this is just another example of the same, whatever their agenda, motivation is. Yeah.
Sure.
But Floyd, I mean, objectively, was, he wasn't a choir boy.
No, absolutely. But I think, what's the outcome of the situation? The outcome has been chaos, right?
Oh, terrible outcome.
Yeah. And
Terrible outcome. Hundreds of millions of dollars in damages, permanent economic effects. I was just in Santa Monica yesterday, in downtown Santa Monica. It looked like a war zone. Like the block, I was surprised at how bad it was because things were boarded up, and some of those things that were boarded up are not coming back. There was actually a sign on one of these streets. I think it was Santa Monica and 5th Street. There was a formerly thriving restaurant and business there, and it just said it was boarded up, and I think it said building empty. Like I would never expect to see that sign like that. And also, because of COVID and everything else, it was the place that was formerly an economic hive of activity was just 10% or 20% of what it used to be.
Yeah, that's wild. I was actually last.
All right, we can stop them boys talking. Now I'll show you how the play was run, and I'll do it in a lot of people that watch my shit, they're like in Hollywood and movie industry and shit like that. But a lot of people lately, they're in the, they're in my hood and shit like that. So I'll show you how the play was run with George Floyd, and I'll show you what really they're mad at Kanye for saying. Because Kanye is, he kind of gave a little clue if you really think and you put this all together. But I'll do it real quick on this video. All right. So George Floyd, as you just heard, was Big Floyd the rapper on Screwed Up Clicks label from Houston, out there in Minnesota. Remember what Kanye said the other day? Something like he said George Floyd was telling his roommate or something that they want a tall guy. They want a tall guy. All right, so when you say they, we never ask really who is they. They are the people that I talked about yesterday. These secret societies that you you see every day, but you don't see them every day. It's kind of weird. You do see them every day, but you don't know you saw them every day. You see their workings every day, but you don't know it was them that did it every day. So when you hear Kanye talking about they doing this, they want that, they're doing this to me, they're doing that, he's talking about these secret societies. Now, I'm gonna put the play in perfect language, you know. So the play, now before, you know, George Floyd, on his chest, he has a big tattoo, double-headed eagle. It say Order Ab Chao, which is Latin, I think, for order out of chaos, which is destroy and rebuild. Like I was telling you yesterday, that's the name of the game, Order out of chaos, Order Ab Chao. So George Floyd had this tattoo on his chest, which was a you know, a complete giveaway to what was going on and what was about to happen. We know Trader Truth. We now know, because you heard it, Trader Truth and George Floyd was on the same record label. So you're not gonna get through trying to mess my shit up. We know Trader Truth and George Floyd was on the same record label. We know Trader Truth is now some big activist in America, and, you know, kind of promoting that Black Lives Matter shit, kind of just helping out people. You know, he helped a lot during the hurricane, and he did, you know, some other shit in the streets. But Trader Truth now got a bad reputation because he, you know, he ganged Zero. So, you know, maybe people don't like Trader Truth that much no more. But at the time, people loved Trader Truth. He was, you know, a rapper back in my day growing up. But I don't know if his rap career really blew up like he wanted it to. So he started doing other shit like being a black activist and blah, blah, blah. But you should know the black activism, especially Black Lives Matter. See, all of this shit connects. The black activism, especially like Black Lives Matter, was only out to destroy, right? Remember, destroy and rebuild, order out of chaos. The Black Lives Matter was the first chess piece is the chaos, right? The chaos caused us to have a fucked up election, burn down a bunch of cities, almost create a civil war kind of black versus white kind of thing. It really destroyed America. What they call it is they destabilize America. So these chess pieces, these pawns, Black Lives Matter, Trader Truth, George Floyd, all of them was initiated at one time. Now, everyone's talking, Candace Owens talking about Black Lives Matter, Kanye talking about Black Lives Matter, a few other people talking about Black Lives Matter. But see, the reason why I be saying these people just be copying me, or maybe I'm the only one that's saying the truth, and then when they figure out they want to be on the side of truth, they just start saying the same shit I say. But I've been telling everybody willing to listen that Black Lives Matter was fake since 2016, when Obama first moved that chess piece. Black Lives Matter was BS. I've been saying that when Kanye was still in the president's office with Obama. So I'm way out in front of all of these people. But I'm telling you now the play. And Kanye put out a little bit of breadcrumbs to kind of tell you the play. So, George Floyd, order out of chaos on his chest. Look at his tattoos. Double-headed eagle. It's a Masonic tattoo. Trader Truth. I don't know for sure, but 99% chance he's a Mason. Kanye West. Pretty sure he's a Mason. So let's just say secret societies. I don't know what lodge these guys are in, but let's just say secret society. Let's put it in a term you know. So secret society, let's say the Batman Christopher Nolan movie. Remember at the beginning when Bane, a secret society. Bane was operating in the city as a secret. Nobody knew he was there in Gotham City, and then he initiated chaos in the city, and he was gonna bring order in the city. All three trilogies was about order out of chaos. If you watch that, I mean, all three of those movies was simply about order out of chaos. It was about what's going on today. Christopher Nolan made that Batman trilogy about the quote-unquote Illuminati, the League of Shadows, taking over America through order out of chaos, and Batman had to stop them. So let's put it out. Remember Bane at the beginning? He was in the movie. I mean, in the airplane, and he had to leave one of his homeboys to die in the airplane, and one of his homeboys gave his life, and he said, Bane, is the fire rising, or is the fire lit or something? And Bane say the fire is rising, or that death was the first death to initiate the plan. Dude gave his life to start the plan. Bane eventually, let all the prisoners out in Gotham, reformed the police. How did he defund the police? He just kidnapped them. He deformed the police. He put everybody on lockdown. Remember, after he blew up the football stadium, he put everybody on lockdown. He let the prisoners out, prisoner reform. He defunded the police. He put everybody on lockdown, like we just went through. He turned the people against the elite. He stopped the sports. Remember, like we stopped the sports when we just went through it. All this shit Christopher Nolan is telling you, we already went through. Now, I would look out even for I ain't gonna say that. But anyway, dude gave his life at the beginning to start the plan. Look at all of the country that had riots all over the country, from Trayvon Martin gave his life to initiate the riots in Miami. Somebody, Michael Brown, St. Louis, gave his life to initiate the riots in St. Louis. George Floyd gave his life to initiate the riots in Minnesota. All over the country, somebody died first to initiate the riots. What did the riots do? The riots destabilized America in a time when we had an America First president. The riots, mixed with COVID, destabilized America to a point where we replaced with maybe a fishy election. That's still under investigation right now. But we saw what those riots did to America, and they started with Obama, summer of 2016, with Black Lives Matters. Now, Kanye said yesterday that Kim Kardashian takes orders from the Clintons. All right, but that is not over with right there. Who does the Clintons take orders from? Well, we know Bill Clinton was in Skull and Bones, and Hillary Clinton is in the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations. So when Hillary and Bill is calling Kim Kardashian, they're not calling on their behalf. They're calling from a higher power. So if we don't talk about the higher power, it don't stop with the Clintons. But let's just say, all right, could the Clintons call Trader Truth? Yes, if they can call Hillary, they can. Could the Clintons call, all these other rappers that help Black Lives Matter? Yes. Could the Clintons call all these other rappers who were shitting on Trump, including Noriega and everybody else? Yes, they could call that, but they're not calling on their behalf. They're puppets for a higher power. So if we don't look at the higher power, we don't understand nothing. So could the higher power call Trader Truth and say, yo, we need Big Floyd to get the fire rising? Yes. Could the higher powers have a person in that police department? Yes. Christopher Nolan showed you that. When Christopher Nolan said, nobody say, oh, you're crazy. Christopher Nolan, you're a psycho. You're mental health issues. You know, we need to sue you. No. When Christopher Nolan say it, we like, oh shit, that was a great movie. But no, this same shit is played out in real life. That's how I'm powerful. That's my gift, because I can see it through the movies and I can see it through everything else. Like, I can see it like that movie They Live. I can see that shit. And I just tell our people. But the interview I just played was 2 years old. Kanye just said it the other day, where we're now, oh my God, you know, we're all like, all wow and starstruck and blown up. But this information with the fentanyl came out 2 years ago. This is our problem. This is what I'm trying to say. We don't see the play happening because we're ignorant to a lot of shit. The information with the fentanyl is 2 years old. And this is not Peely saying it. It's already out. It's 2 years old. But not only that, most of our leaders are in the League of Shadows. Most of our black leaders, as you see, Kanye saying Kim Kardashian takes her advice from a big political platform. We already should know that when we only vote, when Hillary comes on and say, yo, I got my hot sauce and my shit, and I like Beyonce, and I listen to probably now we see why Hillary was giving props to Megan Thee Stallion. They're both from, Megan Thee Stallion from Houston, Beyonce from Houston. We know Beyonce, you know, walking around taking all the pictures with the horses is just showing the 4 horses of the apocalypse, some secret society shit. We already know she's on that shit. We already know Jay-Z's on that shit. Do y'all see what I'm saying now? Our celebrities, our black celebrities. Remember Nas say, trust no black leader. Don't even trust Nas now. He has sold out. But remember when Nas say, trust no black leader. All of our black leaders are just puppets for higher secret societies. They're in lower secret societies that they get in and they sell out, and they think they can, you know, they're going to become more successful than their other people in the hood or people in the black urban community. They sell out, so they get into these little things, and then they get manipulated and used like pawns. But even if they have to give their life to start make the fire rise, they will. Trayvon Martin's dad, secret society. I think Trayvon Martin was even laid out as like the hangman pose from the tarot card deck. Y'all have to know this shit. So when you see it, you know who's doing it. But if you know it, you're going to see it all over. You're going to see it every day. These League of Shadows is in our community. The reason black people can't win, and we've been talking for 50, 60 years about we shall overcome, and we ain't overcome yet. We're actually but even lower. The reason we're even lower because our black leaders are the League of Shadows. Taking more, taking not advice, but taking orders from higher League of Shadows. The higher League of Shadows stay in the shadows because nobody knows who's pulling the strings. They're using the black leaders because the black leaders are more influential than anybody else. So the black leaders, the sellouts in the black community, black people, how we dress, talk, walk, act, it becomes a fashion. So if we come out and say we're being killed by police and blah, 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 we're being oppressed, then the world thinks we're oppressed. Then if we keep saying we're being oppressed, then they will allow us to riot like they allowed us with the Black Lives Matter shit. They allowed us to tear up everything. If we start tearing up everything right now, we're going to jail. But no, when it's a part of the plan for us to tear up everything, they're going to let us. We see all over the riots, there was bricks already put out there for us to pick up and throw. There were people shipped in all of these cities to riot. Charleston had it. We had some death in the church, and we had Walter Scott. All that shit, they was trying to start riots. But who was it going through? It was targeting the black community. So these videos, this video of 100% is trying to teach the black community. Kanye is not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it except a few people. And if we don't learn these plays, we're going to get the plays run on us constantly. And it's never going to work out to benefit us, ever. No celebrity is going to tell you this. T.I., Jay-Z, Beyonce, none of them, because they're all a part of the League of Shadows. They're all taking orders from higher League of Shadows. Then Bane comes down and do his thing, and we get Summer 16 all the way up to taking Trump out of office. Why? Because the plan is order out of chaos. Let's make the chaos, and then we're going to gentrify the whole country and make order. Who gets the lesser end of the stick when the gentrification of the whole country actually happens? The black people. Who initiated the plan, though? The black people. So who got the shorter end of the stick and did all the work? The black people. Who taught you to do that? The black leaders. That's why we never overcome, because our black leaders are running the play on us. Yeah, bitch.